Arguably, the biggest achievement of classical music was the ability of musicians to get to a point where they could tell a story, a drama, without using words. So the number one challenge is creating the sense of movement. And in music, it can come from the game of tension and release. The thing about tension, it calls for action. It's like when you're hungry, you have to go and do something about it. When you are not hungry, you can just lay down and watch Netflix. So it all starts around 1,000 years ago when musicians are starting to consider the option of, hey, maybe you sing that and I will sing this. So if we try to simulate the beginning of the concept of tension and release in music, we go back 1,000 years ago to a time where musicians were used to singing single lines, and the breakthrough happened when probably one of the musicians suggested, how about if I sing something different? How about if I sing and together something like that. Now the question is, okay, if we are singing intervals now, which one then? So the tendency was to sing the octave, the fifth, and the fourth. These nowadays are called in music theory pure intervals. Now, an interval like this one, imagine that the third that we are using all the time were considered probably extremely exotic, not to mention a full chord. But at some point, musicians were starting also to consider, how about if we first sing that interval that doesn't sound so good, but then resolve it to the one that sounds nice, like this one, and then resolve it to one of the pure ones. This way we get some kind of tension and release. So this was the beginning of a process where 700 years later we're hearing not only two voices, but from the hands of Bach we're hearing four voices. So the next stage in the evolution of creating movement in music, creating drama without words, was creating entire chord progressions representing tension, going to a whole section of resolution. This ability enabled composers like Mozart and Beethoven from the 18th and 19th century to create these huge structures of drama, of musical drama, again, without words. But for now, I want to talk about one of the greatest storytellers in the history of pop music, Stevie Wonder. Well, for us today, it goes without saying that you can play a Stevie Wonder song on a piano without singing it, and it will make complete sense. What composers do at the beginning of songs or pieces of music is to inform the audience where they are tonally. So, the normal way to do it will be to start the song from the home chord. If we are in E flat major, is to start the chord. But a single chord may not be enough. Usually what musicians will do is to use a whole progression around the tonic chord, something like that. Back to the tonic. And then reach another harmonic destination. What's so great about Stevie Wonder's song that he explodes right from the first moment. He starts from the E flat, right away, again, and now it's time to get back. The home chord. Now the B part. Now a modulation to F major. Now it's the time to get back home, right? No, but instead of that, we're hearing Stevie Wonder virtuosity, harmonic virtuosity of extending the way back home. So from this point, instead we get and then then we get the final Stevie Wonder signature to this. That sounds. So again, the extended homecoming section.